Hello everyone, welcome again to one of our talks. This talk is directed towards practitioners or professionals, but really also to anybody interested in our perspective, the perspective of the practitioner, the perspective of your practitioner, what it's like to be on the other side of the issues and tribulations being presented. TCM medical practice is devoted to learning. First, the basics concerning diagnosis, defining the pulse, tongue, eye, indicators in conjunction with the 5 colours of skin. We need to know the precise presentation of the symptoms, whether the problem is related to a yin or a yang body foundation, a yin-yang presentation, whether a replete is pernicious heat causing dryness, or excess heat causing fire, or is the yin-yang foundation of the presentation vacuous, empty, deficient? Is the vitality collapsed or low? Or has pernicious damp or water accumulation? Or cold stagnation? Or is there the pernicious excess of wind? And where is the presentation or the pathological influence placed in the body? Is this a superficial penetration, or is the pathological position on the deep internal in the body? Thus do we employ the 5 arts of TCM to rebalance the body and clear the problem. Acupuncture, herbal medicine, therapeutic massage, including the Wu Yi or the bodywork methods from the martial arts traditions, diet and exercise therapy. We spend our lifetime refining these arts. My teacher, Professor Wong Lun, Order of Australia Medal, for his services to Australian Chinese medicine in Australia, encouraged us to go out into the world after our basic learning to practice, and when ready, to return to hear what he really had to share, which he said was ancient China's best knowledge, and the same knowledge is the specialist knowledge of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. The postgraduate studies at our academy were the Nature Tao lectures. The Nature Tao is the way, or the way of the great cycle of life, the precepts and principles that underlie a healthy balance, with particular emphasis on human beings and successful relationships with time and the stages of life, right up to and including dying. When a practitioner has practiced for a long time, what becomes obvious? Of course, we are responding to a complaint and ailments after the fact, unto the end. My early professional aspiration was and is to follow or be a companion or to witness my patient's life over the course of their and my own life, to become an adjunct to Western medicine, a companion to Western medicine, a helper to Western medicine, and a resource for my patient for another view about the tribulations and life issues that they may be going through or experiencing. And from another view, to perhaps halt the progress of disharmony and stop the next impending sickness. This concept is part of our theoretical basis. Does anybody here listening really believe most sickness is without reason or cause? Really? The truth is that as practitioners we must grow to a point where we can articulate the combination of factors that cause natural health to be overwhelmed, to offer our patients dimensions and possibilities perhaps missed or not even offered when they were most needed or due to be received in the hierarchy of human development. When needed the most, they just weren't there, or the wrong information was giving, or the wrong tendency was born. It was missed, therefore interrupting the ability for people to become holistically strong. Why am I sick? Why am I so weak? Why cannot I be healthy, strong and resilient? I fear I cannot be strong enough to succeed in life. I feel anxious, run down, not happy, I'm stressed. Always something wrong, always something not right. What's wrong with me? So many people like this. The great sages and people from any generation or any era have long understood that unnecessary suffering is caused by ignorance of a better way. As an analogy, think of a tree. A tree sits. If there is no wind, there is no movement side to side. When the wind blows, the tree moves in exact accord to the force against it. And when the force ceases, the tree returns to a perfect center. When there is wind and rain, the wind and rain force the leaves and the limbs to flex and bend, always facilitating the path of least resistance. And when the rain and the wind stop, all returns to center. The tree lives outside in the elements. All its flow systems in relationship to the elements. In spring and summer, the longer days and increased heat allows the leaves and blossoms to flower and then to fruit, and the seeds to manifest. Autumn and winter reverse the flow of the expansive nature of summer and spring, and the energy dynamic reverses to retreat within, to store its heat. The cool, dry nature of cold weakens the leaves, and leaves and seed fall, leaving a tree barren. If the tree is in harmony with the soil and gains enough water and sun and wind to test, nurture and strengthen its structure, then the tree will be holistically and naturally strong. However, if seasonal aspects change radically and become too strong for the tree's foundation or constitution, then the tree becomes wretched, easily exhausted and broken, and can collapse or face an otherwise shortening of its life, or never again to produce the vitality or the fruit of its early life. So sudden, strong changing, out of character with what's gone before, can easily overwhelm a living entity. The tree has no choice. It's sitting outside in the elements. It cannot move. It cannot move from its natural position. But human beings are not trees. The tree has no choice and cannot move from its position or adjust to the changing. Human beings can. The question that rises is how to become strong enough in all aspects to be able to withstand great pressure, even if not experienced before, and to not only not be destroyed, but able to become stronger from life events. And when a life shock or physical injury does take us down, what is the way to find a way to clear or recover well enough to fully return to holistic mental and physical health? Where lies this kind of philosophy? Where lies this kind of information? Everything exists in relationship and everything changes. Seasons change, nature changes, the body changes, relationships and emotions and attitudes change. The change from youth through the stages of life to great age. The I Ching in the West, the Book of Changes, defines 64 characteristics between maximum yin and maximum yang. King Wen and Confucius gave commentaries on the individual hexagrams from their life experience. They gave commentaries on the meaning. Halfway between maximum yin and yang is the halfway point. If we're talking about hot and cold, the halfway point would neither be hot nor cold. It would be perfectly in between. So each of the characteristics or influences between maximum yin and maximum yang, Confucius and King Wen made the commentary. In essence, the best part of its scholarship of the I Ching is declaring that whether a positive or negative position or influence is upon us in time and place, there is always an appropriate attitude, position, action or non-action that in effect will balance the situation, thus facilitating survival. And that's the nature of the I Ching, is to provide that subliminal education, to understand what influences are upon us, and to understand the need to adapt. The character of nature, the way of nature, is to adapt to the changing, always adapting, always changing. And this is what the great scholar Fu Zi wrote about in his early commentaries. And Fu Zi wrote the Lo Shu and He Tu discourses, which have been commentated upon since time immemorial. And Fu Zi began his writing by stating that nature is always very strong. And by nature, we're not just talking about the weather, we're talking about human nature, we're talking about aggression, passivity, we're talking about all aspects of life. Life, you could say, is very strong. Fu Zi began his writing by stating that nature is always very strong. And he spoke about Tian Xing Jian and Jun Ci Qiang Bu Zhi. Tian Xing Jian means nature's action ever changing, health as a natural state. The statement is saying it doesn't matter how nature changes. If we follow the order or the Tao of human life in relationship to nature and constant change, health will remain as a natural state. To maintain Jian, holistic health, indicates we can assimilate and harmonize no matter what the changing and still be okay. Nature changes from very good to very bad, from very bad to very good. Life is always like this, but still okay. And this is the meaning of Jian. Health is a natural state. Sickness is not a natural state. Sickness indicates a disruption of the harmony of an otherwise holistically healthy self. Health is a natural state. Sickness is a disorder. Something has fallen out of its natural order. The whole purpose of medicine is to return that harmony. And thus, the statement from Fu Zi that follows, Junzi Chichang Bu Zi. Wise persons continually strengthen themselves. Regardless of nature's changing, how do we remain healthy and strong? People are a part of nature and bound to the same laws of nature. As such, wise people must strengthen themselves, and this is Junzi. Gaining wisdom underlies our study. Chupian, understand the changing. If we are clear-minded enough to perceive and accept the changing of any circumstance before or after it happens, we can know the strength of the force against us and respond appropriately. Yingbian, appropriate adjustment. What to do to improve the situation. What thoughts, actions assimilate and harmonize changing circumstances without causing harm. Awareness that changes upon us, Jupian, enables clear perception regarding circumstances and how our lives might be affected. Yingbian now states the need for appropriate action to strengthen the situation and ourselves. Yingbian is to see the beginning and realize what is at the end. Yingbian is appropriate adjustment. To see the beginning and realize what is at the end, or what is the extension from the beginning. Once realized, enables planning suitable for beneficial results. When do we go forward? When do we go step back? When do we stay the same? When are we forceful? When are we passive? When are we quiet, tranquil? When are we dynamic and active? If the force is too strong against us, we can't go forward. We must stay quiet. Allow the force to be stronger than us. And when it passes, we can step out and go forward again. To understand all of this is to understand the reality of how nature adapts, and we too hold this capacity. Beyond treatment, and these subjects we just discussed are expanded on in the Nature Tao lectures book, Secrets of Health, Happiness and a Long Life. These precepts are associated with education. Beyond treatment lies education. How to make the body strong and resilient. How to make the chi strong. What is the chi? What is chi training? What is the energy dynamic that pervades the physical body? How do we nurture the characteristics that inform and guide intellect? How do we understand strong emotions and the way to govern in the first instance, and what to do then after the fact of a very strong emotional event in life that can destroy us? Too strong emotion can deplete the physical body of its energy, and a person health can collapse, or the soul's journey can be interrupted by a scarring from strong emotion. What to do after the fact of a strong emotional event in life? How do we understand Shen, spirit, the subtle body, and its tendencies? How do we imbue spirit with life purpose? and lead self in a way that leads to a crystal clear mind and a tranquil heart. A crystal clear mind is free of fear, it's free of lies or unrequited compulsions. How do we gain a crystal clear mind and a tranquil heart despite the external changing? All of these are subjects that are ancient discussions, and the best scholarship are concerning these questions. So in regard to helping people, we must know what they really need, rather than just to offer something we have, or we have a lot of, or just want to give. If a person already has enough money, would we offer them more money just because we have plenty of money? We help people in the way they need help. And for this to really happen, we must make a study of all of the components. All the components. There's not just one stream of knowledge. All of the components that form holistic health. So what is of real value to share? It is the pursuit of knowledge concerned with the art of living. The study of holistic health is the study of nature's way. Within Chinese culture is found the discovery of these fundamental truths. Where lies the knowledge by which anybody seeking to ease the unnecessary suffering caused by ignorance of a better way? Where lies this knowledge? Professor Wang Lun stated many times that China had something very special to offer the world that had a capacity to uplift the whole world. He said this so many times. His Nature Tao lectures, plus editions, represents the best of what he believes reflects a legacy from scholars such as Fuzi. He's one of the three demiurges said to have formed the foundational values of the whole of Chinese culture. Zhang Sanfeng, Guang Chensa, Hong Jun Laozi, Yu Huang Dadi, Lao Tzu, who wrote the Tao Te Ching, Confucius, the doctrine of Confucian, and TCM doctors such as Sun Senmiao and Zhang Kenyao, to name just a few. All of us in clinical practice who have witnessed the life changes of our patients know that prolonged suffering or pain or privation or exploitation, alienation affects the whole family and can alter for the worst a person's spirit or personality. A person chronically ill becomes lost to their true or their old selves. People in clinical practice come to fully realize close at hand the truth of the human condition. Therefore, we are amongst those best placed to become educators. While we are always there to respond to our clients or patients after the fact of a breakdown, the final level of our practice is to interrupt the next oncoming sickness via offerings concerned with dimensions and possibilities otherwise unlikely to be received, and on a wider level to uplift the wisdom knowledge of society and the world. I certainly believe, after a life of my own studies so far, the Nature Tao lectures to be the finest wisdom that I have come across. It covers the broad spectrum of disciplines concerning health, happiness and long life, the ancient Chinese study. Those in a position to benefit from the contents of the Nature Tao lectures, Secrets of Health, Happiness and Long Life, will be from many walks of life, particularly educators, doctors from all streams, leaders, psychologists, philosophers, seekers of the truth, those seeking healing, those seeking answers to their mystical or spiritual experiences. Here lies the spiritual tradition of China. As in the East, their spirituality is actually not quite, it's not about worshipping a god. It's not about rituals and worship so much. Perhaps, as I believe, we may look upon this work as a gift or legacy from ancient China to the modern world. Certainly, it offers a glimpse of some of the key historical foundation from the expanse of China's magnificent and grand culture. It's a work that's presented in such a way to appeal to many kinds of readers. It is free of any religious or political inclinations. It's inclusive to all, and represents a continued striving to better understand our human potential to form successful life tactics in relationship with people and nature. Time honoured towards happy, long and well-adjusted lives. So I commend this work to you, and really hope that it's in a form that reaches and communicates clearly. So thank you for listening, and we'll meet again next time.